So we're gonna do our last required lab. As I mentioned, I might give you an extra credit lab. If you want to earn some extra credit, I will send it in the announcement after you come back from Thanksgiving. So if you're doing this lab not here, but you can also download from the Google Drive. I know that it has quota for the day, right? Sometimes everybody downloads and so I will have to fix that problem. So the first part of the lab, it talks about direct access. This is just basically Microsoft server type. Direct access allow, and we talked about this also when we talked about the virtual private network chapter last week. So direct access allow you to implement access for client systems. It's a way that I can log into my laptop at home and use the VPN connection to connect to my business or my business network. It's claimed that it is easy to manage, and what you can do is you can implement profile for your firewall. It's very important that you set up rules for your remote access people, because that's when you tend to see a lot of security issues with remote access. So direct access servers allows you to implement server for your virtual private network. So if you enable VPN, you need to make sure that you have a DHCP server, so that way the client system will be able to obtain IP addresses once they've been authenticated. It's going to assign an IP address for your private LAN. It also allows you to manage other servers. So if you want to implement health registration authority, so how can I do this? Health registration authority means that I want to check the systems that are connected to be healthy, meaning that if they have malware, it would not be allowed on the network because that can spread. So I can have specific requirement, and I will implement a server role to be able to authorize access or not, right? Or I have to make them click some kind of agreement. So, there's different ways that we can implement this. We can also set up system center configuration servers where we can centralize a lot of the management process, or network access protection, your NAP client. So these are some of the features in the roles that we can implement using, or what we should use in a virtual private network. So if you only implement direct access, you're pretty much limited because you might have security issue if you don't control like who's connecting, if they're infected, or if you're not configuring your access properly. And remote access can be the downfall of that part of the network. So if you require NAP client, you need to implement other roles of servers. So a lot of these things, they have requirements in additional role for remote access. So in a simple manner, this is only a small area. You want to use those drive right there. Yeah, pick one up, and yeah, because I'm not sure if these have the actual server information. Okay, so your direct access server, it needs to be a domain member. So that means that you need to make sure that you have a domain controller, and then that server needs to join. So technically, can you have it on one machine? That's not ideal to have a single point for failure, but you would have a DNS, and you would have a separate direct access server that joins that domain. Okay. It also tells you that you need to have security for your firewall at the edge of the device. So we might have to implement an appliance firewall that's protecting at the boundary of our network, because remember, your traffic is coming in from the public side. People are connecting via the internet. And also, you need to also set up a network address translation device. So these are a lot of the different recommendations on how you can establish a successful direct access. So what we're doing today is only like a portion of it. If you want to fully deploy remote access with direct access, you need to make sure that you look at the recommendation, and that's important to think about. So we are going to do a little bit of GPOs and permissions because most of you are going to be working on that as a security specialist. And then we are going to use the security group in Active Directory. Okay, we are going to use Server 2022 VM, and on the drive, it would look like this. It should say Server 22 VM. If you download from the Google Drive, it will be a zip folder for, it will look like this, CIS-40A server, and inside it, when you extract, you should see Server 22 VM. I have to zip it so that way it can be easily download or quicker to download. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge the adapter. You don't have to, you can keep it on network address translation. That's okay. But if you want, you can have it bridged. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you want to test it, you can also have it for internal network only. So, we're not doing anything crazy with this. So we're going to open up VirtualBox. I'm going to remove this so that way I'm just going to walk you through the steps. So in VirtualBox, you are going to add, and we are going to go to our desktop for those of you who copied from the drive or downloads if you download from Google Drive and extract. Make sure that you extract all if you downloaded, and then make sure that you copy to the desktop. Do not run it from the drive because you're going to find yourself an hour later starting all over again. Okay? So copy it to your desktop. I have it on my desktop, and I have a folder that I call Lab 12 so that way it's not going to interfere with the original server version. So I'm going to navigate to Server 22 VM folder, and I'm going to find the VirtualBox, which is the blue file. I'm going to click it open. And I want to check the settings. So I want to make sure that it's at least 8 gig of RAM or 8,000 megabyte. So I click on setting, and I want to check the processor. It should be at quad core at least. So this is going to, usually the Alienware, they're happy with this. So 4 core and 8 gig of RAM. Okay. I've had students that have gone 24 gig. It's tend to be laggy. I don't, even though there's 32 gig of RAM on this. Okay. Then I can click on network, and if you need to change it to bridge, you can click on network and then click the drop down menu where it says NAT and click bridge adapter. This allows your Ethernet connection on your host computer to link, right, the connection to the virtual machine. You can do it this way. You don't have to. If you keep it on NAT, it should be okay. Okay. So if you want to change, click network and then click where the drop down menu where it says attached to, and you can go bridge adapter. Now, if you want to keep it standalone, you can just choose internal network, but we would then use bridge adapter and click OK. Then once we finish with the configuration for setting, we're going to start. So I want to start you with the PowerShell, and as you've learned PowerShell commands in the past, right, it is sensitive to how you type it. So if you get a red error, just check your typing. And then, making sure the dashes with the space, because it might think that it's part of the previous option and it's not happy. So we just want to make sure no copy and paste. There's only like 3-4 commands, so it's basically easy. So a way that we can install role and feature is through PowerShell or even command prompt. Now, when does this happen? You might not have a server that has desktop, right? Not all administrator install server with desktop because it just uses up RAM and resources on the computer. So what we want is we can issue an install command in PowerShell, and PowerShell comes equipped with the OS. Okay, so here I am. To log in, as you know, you're going to click Input, Keyboard, and then Control-Alt-Delete. We learned this in Lab 9 or earlier lab, right? Again, Input, Keyboard, Control-Alt-Delete. And then as administrator, you just type in the password that's given to you in the lab. So CIS-40A exclamation point. Can I do this on server 2019? You can. The instruction is pretty close or the same. They kept the same features and everything. All the commands in PowerShell should be the same. Okay. So we can just say no right now. And it might be laggy at some point, so just be patient with the virtual machine, right? So what we're going to do is, here is your virtual machine, right? Don't mix them up because they're both Windows. In your virtual machine, to call up PowerShell, on this Windows search bar, type PowerShell. And then you should run it as administrator and you are logged on as administrator. So it automatically allows you to do this because most of the time, if you don't log in as administrator, you can have that option. So we're just going to click it. And it should tell you this is your account. Remember that this administrator account is a local system administrator account. Are you guys getting an error?
Valid parameter section. And it frozen at 89%.
So the first command is allowing us to install remote access, your RRAS feature. So if it's stalling or if it's not responding, reboot it and open the app again, right? And then be able to run the application. So I'm able to install RRAS. So if you see a job and it says know how to install remote access server, which is a feature and role on your Windows server, you can put that right on your resume so you know how to install. But installing doesn't mean that it's good to go. We have to configure it. Okay? So you got to wait till it's 100%. Then you can run the next command because PowerShell is limited to sequential processing. So that we have remote access feature. Now, what we're going to do after that is we are going to install DirectAccess VPN. This is a role that you can include, and you want to add the management console so that way you can control it, right? So if I cut this off, it's just going to install that role, but you will have to manage the VPN via commands, right? So we want to include management tools here. And as you are setting up remote access and VPN, you have to install routing. So can I do this in Server Management Console? Sure, I can, right? Server Manager allows you to click that wizard link, and then you can just select the option. So it's like us selecting 3 options. It's just a different way to do it. I want to show you how you can do PowerShell so that way, you know, you might need this, right? Lots of companies hire people that knows PowerShell. And this process is going to take a long time because just like how you click install, you wait a few minutes, right? And it's going to go. Okay. So once you're done with installation, I'm just previewing. You are going to make sure that you add DNS and Active Directory. We did this in Lab 9, right? And I will walk you through some of it, just like a quick add. Once you install your DNS and promote it, you are going to create your users and group for your mobile workers. Remember that was one of the recommendation is to make sure that the people who are accessing your network remotely belongs to a group and you can control the permissions and their privilege in the network. And that's important, right? This could be your security job is to make sure people are functioning and responsible in a certain specific task. Okay. And so that means that we have to use AD, Active Directory users and computers. We're going to make a group. We're going to call this mobile workers. And inside this group, okay, we are going to add these users. And then after that, you're just going to take a screenshot. So once your direct access and everything is installed, you are going to manage your direct access VPN. You are going to run the remote access wizard. And keep in mind that everything ties back to your domain. So technically, you should have a DHCP, you should have server, you should have a DNS server, and you should have Active Directory installed, right? So they all work together. So here, do not take this literally, right? The server name is your server name, win whatever. And then your domain, last time I had you in Lab 9, I had you put your full name.com. So that's what you're gonna, when you promote it, just make sure that it matches. Okay? So make sure that we enter the information correctly. And then when you go through the wizard, it's going to ask you to put in like the contact information in the case that they cannot connect. So that will be your help desk at yourdomain.com. So again, when you see yourdomain.com, don't put yourdomain.com, right? Look at the highlights. This makes sense. Okay. All right. And then it's really quick once we have install. Okay, so I'm done. It tells me I'm successful. Just wait for it. Okay? All right, coming back here. Then we are going to run the next command and wait. Okay, so we're going to do install dash Windows feature. As you can see, repeat, direct access, one word, dash VPN. Because there are different types of VPN, as we talked about that in the last week. And we're going to add, so space dash include management tools. Okay. And if you have an error, just check your typing. So we'll wait for it to be successful at 100% again. Then we're going to add routing. So know that every time that in Windows Server, if you are installing remote access, you should install VPN with it. There's different types of VPN. You should also install routing because it needs to bring the traffic to your server. Okay? Yes. Oh, because you're in a different tab. You're not in the our shell on the inside. Oh, here. Our shell. And you're on the outside. Yeah. Other questions? We're okay? Okay, so just wait a few minutes for that to be done, and then you can do the third command. Okay. So that means in the recommendation, it also tells us to install NAT, which is Network Address Translation. You know, funny that when I interview for the job here, they have asked me, one of the interview question was, can you tell us, right, a time that you install Network Address Translation? And it turned out that like my class at college does it the night before. I just walked them through on how to install NAT. So I walked through the process. But there were jobs in the past that they have asked me, like, how do you install health registration server? You know, those type of things. So you get those type of questions. So in your mind, you just need to kind of visualize the step. And you say, oh, server 2022, which I have experience with. I would use PowerShell, and this is the command that I use, right? And you can add the management tool by doing include management tool, right? So PowerShell is easy because there's only one step. You just write the right command and you're good. Right? But if you're using a wizard, you gotta like do 10 steps. You gotta click next here, you gotta put next here. And so you have to remember more. Any questions? Okay, so we will try to see how far we get today. I will be happy if you get through the entire lab. But if you happen to stop around step 40 something, that's okay. My encouragement for you is after the class, you should go back and practice because you don't remember. I didn't remember the first thing that I learned, right? I had to keep doing it until I remember. And so just like everything, we are a creature of habit. So we just want to make sure that you're comfortable enough to do this for a living. Right? Because we don't want to go to the job and trying to figure it out and screw something up, right? So we just want to be prepared for the job. So if you can get to around, if you can complete or get to NAT or finish the NAT section, I will be happy. But if you can get to the end, which is really easy to configure Windows Firewall, like what we talked about in the recommendation, then you're good. So you just need to add the rule. And for remote access and routing, you need port UDP port 1701 for Windows Server. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, so we are successful. So as you know, it's gonna add the RRAS Connection Manager Administration Kit when you install DirectAccess. That was the feature that came with that VPN option. Okay. Okay, and then on the last one, we're gonna do install dash Windows feature routing space dash include. That's an option, right? Management tools. And wait for that to complete. So I will be here. Oh, don't forget, if you guys are going to the Apprenticeship Expo, that's happening tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm going to try to pop in. I have a class at 2 for Mr. McQueen's coverage. So I'm going to try to get there about well, and then stay there until 1 and then come to work here. But if you want to attend, usually in the morning there's high school students, but if you register, you can attend. I think I put that on the extra credit option. Some of you are in the apprenticeship program already and you're helping out at this show. But you will see that a lot of pre-apprenticeship high school students will probably be there. They bus them in. And then you will get to talk to the panel, the employers in the afternoon when they have tables set up so you can just chat. If you are interested or if you're kind of curious, you can pop in. If you're not free, that's okay, right? There will be another extra credit opportunity before we end. So any questions? Okay, so I don't have a lot of takers for Network Plus certification. So if you already passed Security Plus and A Plus, try, and if you're in the apprenticeship program, try to work on preparing for the test. Like I mentioned before, we don't know how the funding is gonna land, where, we are always working to look for money, but a lot of times we get 5 rejects before we get the money. We are looking for the sources to be able to keep funding like tests out and also exam vouchers. So I cannot guarantee that in 2026 to 2027 academic year. We have enough licenses until May for the exam voucher, and they might extend it if we have a lot of CompTIA, but we're not 100% sure. So I'm working on a couple of really large grants that's due in January, and also some of the smaller grants to be able to support it. But we don't know if they're gonna accept it or not. So just try to take advantage of it, study for your certification. A lot of the students have taken it in the past and passed, so you can too, right? If you're in the apprenticeship program, if not, go to the orientation in December. Once you already complete 25, 27, and 40, any class you completed, you can let us know. We have Pen Test Plus, A Plus, Network Plus, CYSA, which is including X, right? And then even CAT, which is Cybersecurity Advanced, that's a CIS-41D, okay? That's a CAS, which it will change pretty soon or already changed. Okay, let's see. Bye. But if you are not in the apprenticeship program, you should at least pursue 1 or 2 certification. If it's not CompTIA, it should be like something else that you are going to specialize in. Linux, Windows, Cisco, have something. Okay? Because you're going to compete with the people already have experience and certification, so you have to stand above. That's important. Okay, so I'm successful. Then you can just type exit to close. Then we are here, right? In the next part, we're going to do DNS and AD together. You can do the command in PowerShell, but we're just going to go with the wizard so we can do 2 together. We're going to do add roles and feature. This is going to be step 7. We're going to go next. Role based, we saw this before, go next. And, oh, I forgot, you need to set your IP address. So sorry, cancel. So what we need is, you can use the IP address, but it's not gonna let you go through a lot of the steps. So on the left, click local server. A little lag, sorry. And then you are gonna wait for the link for your network. So here you are going to click on IPv4 address on the left local server. Click this. We remember that. This allows you to see your adapter. We're gonna right click, go to properties. And then for the IPv4, we're gonna click on it, go to its property, and click use the IP address. You can use the same thing that you used last time. So we can do 172.6 what was it, 0.16, or is it, sorry,
Yeah, 16.
dot 16.0 dot anything between 50 and 100. So I'm just going to use 57. Click on the subnet mask. You can use another host IP here or the octet here. And then the default gateway, we're going to do 172.16.0.1. This has to be a .1. And then the DNS is going to be the same as our IP address, 172.16.0.57 for me. So make sure we put static IP before we install DNS and Active Directory. Otherwise, you have to reconfigure it. It's a pain in the neck once you promote it. Because if you change IP, it's going to throw a bunch of error. Okay, so we want to do, and how did I get here? I just go to local server on the left. I click on the IPv4 link, which shows me the Ethernet adapter. I right click, go to properties, go to IPv4 property, and I would be able to configure. And you can leave the alternative DNS alone because we don't have a second one yet. We're just gonna put in our unique IP address for our system. Our subnet mask is a classful mask, and the .1 for the router, and the same as the IP address for the DNS. This was in Lab 9. Okay, click OK and close. So you can use your specific IP address when you configure, and then you can close the property sheet. This is going to take a second. If you want, just reboot, which I'm going to do because it's probably quicker if I reboot. So I click this link to change the IP address. See how notice it's not changing, but I'm just going to restart. Okay, so once that happens, we're going to pursue step 7. So make sure I'm going to put set static IP address by clicking local server on server manager, then click IPv4 link, then right click, was it Ethernet adapter, and select properties. Then click IPv4 properties. So it needs to be that, like, in your mind, you should be like this. You should be able to know all the steps, right? You should be able to think of it and say, okay, this is how I would walk through to change my static IP. And then you would enter IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and DNS. Okay. Okay, I have rebooted. Okay, so once we restart, we should see our static IP address. Now you notice the IIS comes up. Why did IIS comes up? I didn't install IIS. Do you guys know what IIS is for? That's for the web server on the Windows side, right? That's the same thing as Apache and Linux. So this is a service for the web. Well, it came with your DirectAccess that you install, assuming that people are going to connect to your system via the internet, also connecting to your web server. So once we're here, we're back here. We're going to click, we're going to do step 7. Bye. Have a good night. Add roles and feature. Go next. role base, go next. And I see my static IP address, so we're good. We're going to go next. And we are going to install a few things. Actually, two. Active Directory Domain Service, your ADDS. Okay, again, that's the second option. Okay, click that. Click Add Features for it. Then we're going to click DNS. If you want DHCP, you can add it there too, right? Assuming that we did this in the past already, this is just because we didn't have it in the virtual machine. So we're going to go next, and then next, 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 and install. And you wait for the bar to be done. That's going to take a few minutes, just like how you did it in PowerShell. And then you just need to promote it in ADDS or configure your DNS. Okay. So I just went to this link, right? I selected Active Directory Domain Service, which is option 2, and also DNS from the list. Add the relevant features for it. Keep clicking next and click install and wait. So now, second time doing it, it should be easy for you, right? You've seen this before. Okay, so how do I know if it's successful? It tells me that on my dashboard over here, right? Your ADDS and your DNS, we're just going to click close. And it shows that over here. It's green, but you still need to fix the problem. Okay, remember this? You're going to click the warning. And then go to first, I probably need to do the DNS side. So before I do that, I'm going to go to Tools, DNS, right click your server, make a new zone, and then go next. So where did I go? I click on Tools, DNS Management Console, right? Tools, DNS Management Console. This was in Lab 9. Right click your server, new zone. You can select the first option. It's still going to walk you through the zone. Go next. Primary zone, forward lookup zone. This is your zone name. Just put your full name. And then put your full name. It's going to create the DNS file. And we don't care about the updates right now. We'll take care of it later, remember? Go next and finish. So once you have your zone, you don't have to do a reverse. That's okay. You can close that. Then click the warning or go to ADDS Management Console. So here it tells you the first option. You need to promote it. So we're going to click the warning and click Configure Active Directory Domain Service. Click the link. It's basically going to open the wizard for you. If I don't have this, I can open the ADDS Management Console and right-click my server and it'll take you here. New Forest, put in your domain name. So put in your fullname.com. And then go next. So this should be second nature, right? After a few times doing it. So you can always practice.
Right.
Go to Tools, DNS Management Console, right-click your server, new zone, go through the wizard. And when it says zone name, just put your full name.
What were the makeup days?
I'm here Thursday night, 5 to 6. If you want to pop in on Friday, 1:30 to 5, they are doing the same lab for last week.
I'm at Cal State San Bernardino on Fridays.
Okay.
So after break, we can come in though, right? After Thanksgiving break? Was there one?
Yeah. Yeah. You can come in during class time or
Okay,
whatever.
because I just have to make up the lab from last week.
Okay,
All
sure.
right, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Good day.
welcome. Bye. Yeah, so go to the new zone and then go through the wizard to set up and just put your full name where it says the zone name and just primary. Yep. Okay, so I started my Active Directory and what I did was I selected a new forest, put in my domain name, go next. And remember this, we're just gonna have to keep it 2016 or newer, so we're just gonna keep it the same. And then you need to put in a restore password when it lets you. So we can use the same password, but I practice you should use a different password. So in the case if your server crash, right, you're able to recover. So we'll just put our password. And then go next. And if you want, it tells you can't delegate that because you don't have a parent. That's okay. We're just going to go next. We'll fix that later. And once this is done, your NetBIOS is also just your full name. It's before your root. And then it's going to plug that in. Go next. So it can resolve through using just your domain name without the IP. And it's going to create this file. Go next, next, and view the summary and check your prerequisite and click install. So if you don't meet the prerequisite, like a static IP address, you're going to get stuck right here. You have to go back, fix that problem, and then go through the wizard again, right? So just to save the grief and the time, the effort, you just do the static IP first, and then you do the DNS, and then you do ADDS. So your domain doesn't fully become a domain until you promote it as a controller. Okay. So when this is done, it tells you a few warnings. It says no delegation. It should have better cryptography, right? The yellow symbol is okay, right? If you have error, it's also going to show this here, but we don't. So we're just going to click install and wait. We don't have to configure DHCP or dynamic updates right now. We're just going to do the lab so we have remote access information. But you should configure all of that beforehand. So you can click, so to walk you through that again, you can click the warning sign and then you click a Active Directory domain service, or you can go to tools and click Active Directory directory sites and service. That's the same thing. And then, but you click here, you click the link that's provided, and it takes you to the wizard. And you simply fill out, just like Lab 9, new forest, and you select the options and put in your password. That's it. Okay. So click the warning symbol, and then you see the link, click that and go through the wizard. Fill out new forest, because you don't have a forest or tree. Okay, so it's gonna reboot. So that's done. We're gonna close and let it reboot. Okay. It's gonna do its thing. And then once it start the service, it's gonna let you log in. That might take a minute. Don't press anything here, just let it go. Okay, so once it boots up again after the step 7, you are going to access the Active Directory users and computers. I'm sure some of you have seen this in CIS-27, right? Or other class. because they should teach you how to implement group policy and implement control in group membership. Okay. Any question? Do you need any help? We're good? Yeah.
Stuff over here on 7 for the roles, because we have this on the.
Yeah, domain name services, your ADDS. No, that's your certificate. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So then I
And
get
then
that.
DNS.
But yeah, DNS is, but then it gets me here. And we'll then have that. So we can get those. Yes. You're doing single.
Go back.
Domain that you created. Means DNS server. Are you?
Or you use or?
Oh, you can't go forward. Hit DHCP off.
This one?
Is the domain, yeah, creates there.
Yeah, it doesn't like the three things combined. So you have to do that separately or after. In the past, it did. That's something that Microsoft just changed on 22. Because I wrote a lab where it's all three together.
Let's hit restart now.
Second class icon.
Hit next or? But.
Um,
On your tab bar.
previous.
Next one.
Move rules.
Close file or
Yes.
If it says required.
with DNS.
Yes.
So it's dashboard again. Well,
Oh, is it the same virtual machine that you did last time?
I downloaded it on this thing.
Oh, that's new then.
Yeah.
with tools. Yes.
Hit cancel. Start your wizard again. No DHCP. Yeah,
Sure.
it did not like. I don't know why it did not let you do the DHCP together with it this time. Anybody need help?
After the zone, if you close the next icon, because I tried doing this, I wasn't.
Okay, so first you're gonna click on the warning. And yeah. Wait, that's just a VPN. It's okay, click that one.
You're ready to go back.
All right, now you're gonna go on New Forest, the third option. Wait for it. Give it a second. It's just slow. It's trying to find your domain information. Okay, and then just put in your own .com.
And now it's on the server.
If the version box doesn't load up, do I need to read sorry or?
Yeah, you can manually restart it. It should be a second. It sometimes needed to load the service.
It just says
After
next server, which
ADDS,
is
it should.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
You may not have DNS.
Accept.
It's not kind of there.
No, it has to be like if you use your full name and your DNS, you have to use
It's
it.
the when you log in,
It's you can so give it a second. You can click previous and then you can. That's what it's saying. It's not
Add your
matching
button.
your
Domain
zone
name.
to your name. So whatever you type, like if you put your full name and make sure it's fullname.com.
This
Okay,
for today.
because if it cannot locate the DNS file, it won't be able to put on.
Presettings. Yeah, you're on.
Okay, so make sure it matches.
It's fact.
Okay, notice that once you promote it, right, this is your domain information and this is your account. So we're just gonna type in our password to log in again. Did it work? You're waiting?
Started because it started locking.
Yeah, so just look at your roles on the left once your dashboard is integrated, like it's gonna list your server roles and all of those things. Okay? Because mine is still loading, that's why it's red and it's not listing. So you should see your roles here. If it's already there, then you have to configure it. If it's not, then you have to add it. Okay, so we have DNS, ADDS, we have IIS, we have remote access. I think we're golden. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create the users and the groups. Okay, so it will need to restart after you promote it. So go to Tools. We're going to select the fourth option, which is Users and then Computer. And here is your domain, right? This is what you created. You promote it to your .com. So now you have a domain and you want users inside your domain or systems inside your domain. So where did I go? I click on Tools and I went to the fourth option from the top, which is your AD users and computers. So this allows you to create objects inside your domain. So you click on that and it's going to take you to the console. Okay. Like this. Then you click on your domain, which has your full name.com. You can expand it on the left or you can click the right side, same thing. And then in your users folder on the left or the right, you can click here, you can click here. So it has a users folder. You can right click, you can click new and select group. And we're going to name this mobile workers because that's what the assignment asks us to do. So again, right, once I'm in Active Directory users and computer by clicking tools and selecting it, click on my, expand my detail container inside my domain, right click users, new, you can do left or right, group. And we're going to name it mobile workers. And it's going to tell you to select one of these, right? Your universal group, see you later, done? The universal group, it would be the groups for global and universal that will be the domain in the forest, any domain, right? It doesn't have trust, okay? Your global group, it can be users and computers in the same domain, but not in the universal group. So there's different level of access. And then for your domain local group, it's going to contain the users, the global groups, and the universal. So this is going to be versus, it's going to accept all three if you do domain local, right? And it would have trust. So the difference is that the domain groups, the local groups work even if the domain controller cannot contact it. So if you want the group to be accessible at universal or global or at the domain local level, then you are going to select domain local. Now in the past video, I have them keep the global. Just know that it's just different level of access in the group. Okay, so I'm going to do domain local group. And keep it security because distribution is just going to receive information. So go next, go OK. And now if you expand the users group folder, you should see mobile workers right here. And this is a customized security group. So the lab instruction tells you to also make the users. So you can do it two ways. You can make the group and make the users for the group, or you can make the users and make the group and add them in. I typically, by default, I like to make the group and then add the user to it. It's actually letting me control because if you have 1,000 user, you're gonna add 1,000 user and then you have to add them to the group later. Same thing. Okay. So I made the mobile workers group and then I right click the group. Okay. I'm sorry. I would need to make the users either way, right? So you can add to a group and you have to find the user. So again, right click the user, new. We are going to We're going to select user. And what we're going to do is we're going to do Alex Smith. So first name, Alex Smith. And the login is going to be A Smith, which is standard. You can do lower uppercase. That's up to you. Okay, and it's going to be at yourdomain.com. Go next. And then password, it's just going to be, we don't have a policy yet, but you can just make it a generic password. Bye, take care. And then confirm it. And keep the first option so that way they can make their own password when they first log in. You just need to give them the generic password the first time and then go next. So I have Alex Smith and then click finish. Now, if you want to add him to the group, just right click the user account, add to group, and you just search for the group, which is mobile workers, and check names. If it's highlighted, then the group is available. Click OK. Okay. I'm going to do another one so you can see. We're going to add Gabriela Flores. So in the users folder, we're going to right click, new, users at the bottom. Type in her name. So can I automate this process? Yeah, you can. If you do PowerShell, you can write a script and add it to the shell and then be able to run it. Okay, then you're going to do G Flores. Or we can do the capital. We keep it all thematic. Now, if you have another person that has the first and same last name, first initial, same last name, you need to add the number, right? Everybody has to be unique. So if somebody is like Gary Flores, then you have to do G Flores 1. And then the password. See you. Okay. And you can right click the account. So here I have Gabrielle Flores new. I'm going to add it to group, search for the group name. So I right click the account, add it to group, and we're going to do mobile workers. You can type in mobile and then check name. So if it finds it, it will highlight with the underline. Click OK. And so now I have 2 members in that group. And I would do the same thing for A Chen, Arthur Chen, and Tina Brown. So right click users, new, user. We would do author. So this could be your job in cybersecurity, right? A Chen. Click next. Type in a generic password. Make sure it matches. Keep the first default option. Go next. Oh, maybe it might match. Same thing to confirm. And finish. And then find Arthur Chen, right click the account, go to add to group, type in your group name, mobile workers. So I made the group already, right? Check names and click OK. We would repeat the same thing for Tina Brown. Right click, new, users. So as you can see, right, you have to create the object to control the object. So we're going to do or subject, I'm sorry, Tina. And then last name is Brown. And can you do this in command? You sure can, right? Net user for Windows. So T Brown, click next, and then your generic password. Confirm, go next, and finish. Now we're gonna right click the account, add to group, type in your group name, click check names. If it exists, underline, and then go okay. And there we have it. So now what you're gonna do is you created users for your group and a group for mobile workers. So by practice, we should do this, right? We should have a group for remote access. We throw the users in there. So at this point, if you click on the users folder, right, you should have your new users like Gabriela Flores, Tina Brown. You scroll up, there's Alex Smith. You just need to screenshot it. Okay. Then we can close this. Then for remote access management, you're going to go to tools. So in your Windows server, so click on the little toolbox to open your server manager and click tools. Okay. Then go down to R, go to remote access management. That's going to open your RRAS server role console. You didn't install it. This may be one of the communities at the beginning.
Maybe I'll first.
Yeah, just run it for me. Or add the role, it's up to you. Yeah, it's the first command on the list. In the first part. So if you install RRAS, you should have it. It should show like this. And also DirectAccess VPN for configuration. Then on the left, I'm sorry. Once you have that, you are on the left pane. Oops. You are going to click DirectAccess VPN. So we are going to click DirectAccess VPN. And here is where you would run the wizard. Okay, so you can use the management console for this. It tells you that if you want to do DirectAccess VPN setting, you would click this link. If you want DirectAccess VPN for the default configuration, you would click this link, right? So there's two options. So what we're going to do is we are going to click run. So we're going to do remote access setup wizard, which is the second one. Read it carefully, right? So it says run getting started or run the remote access wizard, which is the second one. Click this. Okay, I clicked the second link. Okay. Then you are going to click deploy both DirectAccess and VPN recommended, which is the first option. Click that. And it's going to tell you, oh, it needs the prerequisite. You can configure the client. You need to configure, that's the first step. Then you need to configure the server. That's the second step. So we're going to click step 1, configure. And we are going to deploy, right? So if you click the first step 1, configure button, you are going to keep the option that's selected. We're going to go next and we're going to add the group. This is how you add your mobile workers people. Okay. So we are going to deploy full DirectAccess client access remote management. Go next. and then click add and type in mobile workers. So that means that you have to have the group and the users added to the group. Otherwise, you can't deploy your VPN and remote access. Okay? So it's very clear for the step in the lab. So just read it and follow the instruction. So once I put in the group and I locate the group, click OK. I'm going to click enable direct access for mobile computers only and go next. So this is going to be slightly different. So here is, you might not have this option because of 2022. Okay. So it skips this part for the newer OS. So it's just enter helpdesk at yourdomain.com. So we're going to do helpdesk at yourfullname.com. Oops, lowercase com. And for the workplace connection, it basically link the help desk information to that. Now, if you want to let them use NetBEUI or NetBIOS, you can select this option. Did it say that? No. Oh, yeah. So it tells you NCA is used to view the current connection to gather the information that is helpful for troubleshooting in the case that if they cannot connect. And then you click finish. We're almost done. So we're just going to get to like around step 40. So Microsoft made it pretty easy where they walk you through each step. You just need to know like what you need to do first. So once you set up your Active Directory, add your users and groups. You can also implement rules or policy by GPO. But you would then add that group to your DirectAccess client. That's the first step. So what's the first step of configuring VPN in Microsoft? To set up your client after you create them, the accounts in Active Directory. Then we can finish and wait. So after you do that, then you would set up your remote access and do RRAS. That's Open RRAS Management Console. Then you can go through and you can set up routing. So all of these three components work together. So now you know how to do remote access server with VPN, with user accounts and groups. Okay, it might take a second or minutes for it to go through and finish. Okay, so if you can get to step 40, we would end that there. If you want to go further, if you have time, I would suggest you would learn how to configure network address translation with it. But you don't have to, okay? So the server files, you should keep it, use it to practice after the class, because this might be your job one day.
Need to create this first PC.
What?
I was gonna say, I'm probably gonna recreate all this on my personal PC, so that way.
You don't have to run it. You can, because cloud, like when you use cloud instance, they're all virtual machines. So realistically, you're gonna mostly use VM all the way in cloud. But yeah, if you like him, if you're able to have a system to do that, more power to you.
Sure.
Okay. So we did that, right? I had finished I finished step 36. Now, if it prompt you, I think 2019 and 2022, they cut some steps so that way it's easier for the administrator. So it might not prompt you to start, but you can always check your service here. So it tells you here that you need to go through the post deployment. So if you see the warning and you see direct access VPN RAS, you can just go to the wizard, right? And then you can configure this. If I don't have access to this, I can always go to the management console and be able to control that there.
Seven, service name, where it'll be tied in. The domain.
Yeah, if you wanted to ping if you don't have it, it's fine. I didn't add the server name information, but you can. So if you want to test ping it, you can.
Random type.
Okay, so in tools, you can go to remote access management, right? To check your services. And you would run that part, right? So if I don't see the prompt for routing, because remember, I need to do RRAS management. I can go to remote access management console, and then on the right side, I can click that, right? Which gives me here. When you see red, that means it's not ready. So how did I get here? I went to tools and I select remote access management console. On the right side, I click open RRAS. So if you don't see it prompted, you have to set up the routing. Okay. Then I can right click my server and configure enable routing. And then I can go next. Now here is where you can set up your network address translation. You can set up VPN with NAT or by itself. You would also can set up like secure connection, or you can also customize your configuration. So it tells me that I need to configure enable routing access wizard. I'm going to do a custom configuration and I'm going to proceed. You can select both in one option. So I can do this or I can customize it. So we're going to go with the lab. We're going to do custom, go next, and I would select VPN and NAT, and you can do others too if you need. And then finish.
Either way, it's gonna involve.
So it tells me that I need to be a domain administrator to complete this task. So now I have to log in. So I might have to re-log back in as a domain administrator account to be able to do that, right? So we're going to start the service and voila, it's ready. Okay. Now we're going to set up the security VPN. So right here, right? So once you have your service running, you see that it adds all of these things. You already have your client, but it doesn't show anybody logging in yet, right? So as they log in to your remote server, you would see that there. So what we're going to do is we are going to right click I'm sorry, on the left, we're gonna click routing and remote access and then right click your server. So I'm just following the lab, right? We're gonna right click the server. Deal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then what we're gonna do is we are going to allow the address pool. Right? So on the IPv4 static address pool, you can add. So here I'm gonna do 172.16.0 dot. Let's say I want to go from 100 to 150. Or actually less than that, because we only have what, 4 or 5 people? 172.16.0 dot, let's say 115. And it will tell you how many addresses. So if you want 20 addresses, just put in 100 to 120. And then click OK. So that means that those client systems with those user accounts, once they log in, they're going to get an internal IP address that is going to be released from the DHCP. It's going to do the network address translation accordingly, and so on. Yes. Oh, your server name is whatever.com, your full name.com. Don't without that, just put that. So if your server is active, you can try to ping it. You don't have to do a ping test. It might not connect accordingly. It should, but yeah, you don't have to do a ping test.
Dr. Wayne, Dr. Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the finals prep in the class and I can't find it. Right? The final review.
Oh, maybe I did not
Oh, yeah, I
enable.
didn't see any.
I forgot to click it on. I'll do that right now. And then I think there was a student asking for lab 3. Okay. Maybe that's for next week, but I'll turn it on now. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't published. I thought I had it, but I was sleepy this morning. Working on 3 hours. Good night. Okay, so it's there. Okay. So once I get here, I'm good for the required task. If you want to go further, you can configure NAT. So now you expand, right? In general, you can also set up your network address translation. It walks you through the step. And then on the last part, you just need to configure the firewall. But I only require everybody to get to maybe step 40. If you finished until the end, good for you. Okay. Any questions? So I'll reserve some time to help everybody. No? Okay.